What's up guys, ChromeFX Films here with the next episode in my Basics of Unity tutorial series. In this episode I'm going to be talking to you about the menu bar at the top of the program, and the first button says File. Alright, when you click File it says New Scene. New Scene creates pretty much a new level, not a new project. A new project creates a whole new game. New Scene just creates a new level that you can put in your build settings, which I'll get to soon. An open scene just opens the scene. Save scene saves over your scene. It does not create a new scene. It just saves your work. Save scene as creates a new level for your build settings. New project creates a new game. Pretty much, it creates a whole new project that you would use to create a new game. Open project opens the project, and save project saves the project. Pretty self-explanatory. Alright, build settings. This is the window where you render your games. The platforms are the system that you would be rendering the game for. Over here I'm on PC, so target platform is Windows. They have all the Mac OSs over there, and Windows 64-bit. And up here it says scenes and build. I have one scene. Now this is actually the scene that I currently have open right now. So this is called Basics of Unity. The way to add scenes in this scene build is by clicking this Add Current button, and it keeps adding them. You only want to have one though. This is for when you are trying to access different scenes through scripts. This is the way you access them. So all the way here on the right, it says 0. That is scene 0. So in the code you would say application.loadLevel, and then you'd say 0 or 1 or 2 or whatever scene you want to load up. So that's what that's for. Web Player. Web Player is just like the PC and Mac standalone, except it just makes the game for Web Player. But you would not be able to change the input on your own after the finished product like you could with PC and Mac standalone. Same thing goes for iOS, Android, Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii. You cannot edit it after you make a standalone. In Edit, you just have all the hotkeys are actually located right here. It says cut, copy, paste, duplicate, delete. These are all the hotkeys right here. You can play around with these for a while, and once you get familiar with them, you'd be going through super fast and using Unity like a breeze. But one thing you have to watch out for is Control-C, Control-V copies and pastes. But since the V is right next to the B, if you press Control-B, it will start rendering the settings, because Control-B is build and run, which you really got to watch out, because in this version of Unity you cannot cancel that. So if you do that, you got to wait for it to finish rendering. So if you have a really big game, it's kind of annoying. Alright, this is cool. Load selection and save selection. If you pinpoint like a bunch of objects in a scene, like I'll just do it. Alright, three spheres. If I click one of them, I hold Control down and I press the other ones. I go over back to Edit. I click Save Selection 1. Now if I deselect them, I go back to Edit. I click go down to Load Selection, and when I press Load Selection 1, it selects them all. This is really helpful if you have a lot of different pinpoint selections that you need to do, and instead of wasting your time by selecting them all over again, you can click Save Selection. Alright, project settings. This is where the input and tags are located. Some of these things require coding, and I would have to do another tutorial on those. Render settings. This is where you set up your fog. You can turn on fog type. Ambient light is actually the default lighting that is in your map. So right now the default is on this dark grayish color. Now what you could do is change this to any color that you want according to whatever you want the scene to be. So if I change it to like this green color and I press this render light button, as you can see, these balls are really green right now. And that's actually just ambient lighting. The balls aren't green at all. In assets, it says create, and then this whole list right here, you can actually access by right-clicking in the project window and clicking create, and then they're all there. Down here it says import package. This is where you would import different file packages into your project, Unity project. Some of them that you would buy off of like the asset store or some Unity website that sells these things, you would click custom package and then you can go through your computer and then you can find it. But these are the standard ones that come with Unity, so these are pretty helpful. An export package is if you want to export something for somebody else to use. So you would click that, you'd select your file in the project, don't select it in the hierarchy, select it in the project, you go to assets, export package, and then you name it, and then it'd be a final package for somebody else to import. Alright, GameObject. Create empty is actually, I use it for grouping objects. You'd use it for a lot of other things, but one good thing to use it for is grouping objects. So if you have hundreds of objects in your scene and you have a really big level, you would name these. So I'd name these spheres. So all the spheres in my scene would go into this one group. So now they're all grouped. So as you can see, instead of taking up the 4 spaces, it's now taking up the 1. So it's pretty useful. Component. Particles. This is if you're doing particle animations or animated textures. So you'd add these world particle collider, mesh particle, emitter, and yeah. Physics. Rigid body. Rigid body adds a source of gravity to your object. So if I add physics to this sphere right here, I would add a rigid body, and over here, as you can see, the mass is the weight. Gravity, kinetic means it's like sticks where it is and it doesn't move, and you can do constraints too. So you can freeze like certain positions, like it won't move along the x-axis no matter what. Depending on what kind of game you're making, that'll be helpful. An audio listener. You only want to have one audio listener in your scene, because that is where all the sound is going to. If you are a mile away from like some blast and stuff, and then you have 2 cameras, one is near the blast and one is like a mile away, if you have 2 audio listeners, you're going to hear the mile away one like it's 10 feet away from the camera. It's just really unrealistic, and it messes up the sound in your game. So you only want to have one. Audio source, on the other hand, you can have as many as you want, because this just makes the object be able to support an audio file. Rendering is for adding like light or projectors, or just adding a new camera into the scene. Miscellaneous, animation, network view. This is kind of advanced stuff. No, I would have to go into that in another tutorial. Terrains. This is just how you create a terrain. Once you have a terrain, you can just edit all the options through here. And I have another tutorial that is more in depth with terrains. So window just makes all these show up. If you accidentally close one, like I just did, see I just closed the hierarchy, you can go here and you can reopen it again and then drag it back into place. So that's what that's for. Or you can access the asset store, which is where you can buy prefabs and directly import them straight to your scene. Light mapping is making shadows in your game without having Unity Pro. It makes like shadows that are stuck to objects. So it's not real time, but it gives an illusion, and it makes your game look very nice. Occlusion calling is for if you have a game that's full of objects and your computer is starting to slow down. Occlusion calling will actually make all the objects that are in a certain section, if you're not looking at them, they will disable, so the frame rate will never drop. So only when you're looking at them, they'll pop up. So it's very helpful. And then the help just is for checking for updates and release notes, and if you want to enter the serial number for the Pro version of Unity, and the reference manual, which actually takes you to the website. That is it for the menu bar, and I hope this helped. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it in the comments, and if you have any questions, please post them below. So, thanks guys, and see you next time.